Hey guys, welcome back. I got another deck profile because the last one did really well. It got over 20 views, which is amazing. Thank you guys so much for that. So I figured I'd bring you the deck that I've really been enjoying, really been loving playing, and when locals eventually open back up, I'll probably be taking this if, any of these cards are still around or still relevant. It's Shaddoll Dinos, as you can see by the title and the fact that I've got UCT and Construct next to each other. So let's just jump right into it with the monsters first. I got 3 copies of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. He's the boss monster of the deck, and what he does is he has a Book of Moon effect for everyone on the field. So he flips all monsters face down. He can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. And if they're in defense position, he deals 1,000 damage, which is really good. And here comes Obama to see what I'm doing. Like all my videos, I'm just going to do this in one take. It doesn't really matter. She's probably just going to be annoying for a little bit. Got 1 Overtext. Been thinking about cutting it, but I don't really have anything to replace it with. If it gets sent to the graveyard, it searches out a double evolution pill, which is really nice. It basically makes the whole deck function. 1 Pankratops. It's this deck's version of Cyber Dragon. Only 1 because it's at 1 right now. I would play more if I could, but I can't. I play standard 1 Giant Rex. You only need 1. It basically infinitely recurs itself as long as you can keep banishing it, which is very easy to do in this deck. Run 3 Soul Eating Oviraptor. The best card in the deck. I keep hearing people say they want it to get banned. I kind of agree. It's really good, but I like playing Dinos, so I don't want it to get banned. What Oviraptor does is he allows you to either add a card from deck to hand, a dinosaur monster, doesn't matter what level, or send a dinosaur monster from your deck to your graveyard. And then if you have a dinosaur in the graveyard and 1 on the field, you could pop the 1 on the field to special summon the 1 from the graveyard, which is really good because you could like pop the baby on the field and then special summon back like a Giant Rex that didn't get banished or something, and then use the baby special summon to go into like Pankratops or something. 2 Miscellaneousaurs. I only play 2. It's mostly used for the discard, and then you can make all your dinosaurs immune to effects, which is really good. It means you can't get Nibirued, which is the main thing, because this is a combo deck, so getting Nibirued really hurts. But then also, you can banish it and any other amount of dinosaur monsters in your graveyard, and then you could special summon a dinosaur with that same level as the amount of dinosaurs you banished. Usually you want to banish 2, because you can go into the 2 Baby Ceratosaurus, special summon that and pop it with Soul Eating Oviraptor. And then Baby Ceratosaurus lets you special summon a level 4 or lower dinosaur type monster from your deck. I only play the 2 babies. I only have room for the 2 babies because I play kind of, not really a big Shaddoll package, but it's big enough, and I also play some hand traps. If I had the space, I would play 1 more Baby Ceratosaurus and 2 Petite Pteranodons, but right now it's just Baby Ceratosaurus. And then we move on to the Shaddolls. I play 1 Windy and 1 Aerial. They're pretty standard for the Shaddoll lineup. You kind of need them. What Aerial does is it lets you target up to 3 cards in either player's graveyard and banish them. So you can banish your Giant Rex. You can, banish, say you're playing against an invoked player, you can banish their Alistairs in the graveyard if they haven't already brought them back, which is really good. It's basically targeting Trishula for only the graveyard, which is really, really good. And then what Wendy does, we mostly use her for the effect of when we send her to the graveyard, she can special summon a Shaddoll monster from the deck, and we usually special summon our 1 Beast. I guess I'll put the Beast here. Our 1-of Shaddoll Beast. Beast is really good. If you flip him face up, you get to draw 2 and discard 1, so you get the Mothman effect. And we don't really ever resolve that, but it comes up, which is really nice. And then if he gets sent to the graveyard, you get to draw a card, which is what usually happens because Beast is your #1 target off of Shaddoll Fusion if you're not going for Windy, if you already have Windy in hand. We play the 2 dragons. Dragon is really good. Flip him face up, and you can target a card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. So he's a flip monster, Compulse. And then also, if the card is sent to the graveyard, you can target a spell or trap on the field and destroy it, which is really good because you can, Shaddoll Fusion, send your dragon, send a light monster, and then also MST a card your opponent has either like their field spell or anything face down, which is really good. And I play a couple honorary Shaddolls. I play Trick Clown and also Damage Juggler. I have Animador and Archosaur coming in the mail. I might cut the Damage Juggler for Archosaur when it gets here, but has to get here first, and I have to play test with that. But right now I'm really liking the 2 Perform Mages. They're both lights, so they're both construct targets. Trick Clown is the better one because it lets you bring it back for the low cost of 1,000 life points, which is really nothing. And then Damage Juggler lets you search for the Trick Clown if you haven't already sent it, which is really good. And then I only play a few hand traps. I play 2 Ash Blossom, 1 of each art, because I can never choose. And then I play 3 Ulti Phantasmes. They're Japanese. I've also got Phantasmes coming in the mail. They're supposed to get here on the 8th, which is when this video is going to upload. So I might, once I get everything in, I might also update this deck profile, because I know I have to update the True Kings deck profile eventually, because I got my Needle Fiber in the mail. Not using it for this deck, though. I don't have any space for tuners, so no Needle Fiber, just pure Dinos and Shaddolls. So that's it for the monsters. We can move on to the spells and single trap card. 3 Shaddoll Fusion, it's necessary. It lets you special summon all of your El Shaddoll monsters, and then if your opponent has an extra deck monster on the field, you can use monsters from your deck as Shaddoll Fusion targets. So it basically lets you foolish anything out of your deck if you go second. This is a going second deck. And it's really, really good. Never should have come back to 3. But I'm really glad it did, because it lets us play this deck. 1 El Shaddoll Fusion, you mostly use it for going into Winda on your opponent's turn, so you get all your special summons out of the way. Then on their turn, standby phase, El Shaddoll Fusion, you go into Winda and lock them out. They can only do 1 special summon, meaning they have 1 special summon to get over a, 2100 attack or something? 2200 attack monster, plus anything else you have set up on the field, either Shekanaga or multiple UCTs, which is very easy to do. Super Poly, basically the same thing if you have any Shaddolls left on the field, but also it's just really good at getting rid of stuff that you don't want on the field that you can end up using for link material. And then I play 3 Double Evolution Pill. Also necessary, lets you just turbo out UCTs left and right. Oftentimes you can Double Evolution Pill into a UCT from the deck and then hard summon UCT from your hand so you get 2 on the field, and then you can Gustav Max for time or something if it gets to that point, or just win the game with your battle phase, because UCT is a beast of a boss monster. 3 Fossil Dig lets you search for anything. And because we have 3 Solean Oviraptor, it's basically like 6 Fossil Digs, or I guess Fossil Dig is 6 Solean Oviraptors. And it's the best searcher in the game. It's very simple. It's like Rhoda, except for level 6 or lower dinosaur monsters. And it's mandatory that you play 3. And I've got the maxed out OTS super rares. I wish it came in a higher rarity, like Ultra or Secret, but Konami doesn't love me like that. Speaking of secrets, I have my 2 Secret Twin Twisters. If I had $300 to spare, these would be lightning storms, but I do not, so they're twin twisters. And they let you discard a card, which is really good, setting up your graveyard. You could discard like a dinosaur monster and then use miscellaneous swords. You got the 2 dinos in graveyard. Banish those. You can special summon a baby. Plenty of combos. Open up so many combos because of the discard. And then I only play 1 trap. The 1 Shaddoll Incarnation. It's really good. You banish it from your graveyard and you can change the field position of a face-up or face-down defense position monster. So the play is to go into construct with Wendy and a light monster, and then send this to the graveyard. And then Wendy lets you special summon a monster in face-down defense position, banish the rest of it all, flip it face-up. It's a beast. You get to draw 2 cards, which is a really good combo. I do it sometimes, not all the time. It's kind of convoluted, and if your opponent has Ash, it has a lot of areas where they could Ash it, and then it's not very good anymore. But it comes up, you know. So that's it for the main deck. I believe that's 40 cards. I like to keep my decks to either 40 or, like, if I'm playing Lightsworn, I can bump it all the way up to 60. But onto the extra deck, we have 2 Construct, the 1 Ulti Construct because I don't have a whole lot of money, and I bought that a while ago when they were only like 30 bucks. Construct lets you send Shaddoll cards, any kind of card, trap, spell, or monster. Almost always going to be a trap, the Shaddoll Incarnation. Send it to the graveyard, and then in the damage step, it destroys any special summon monster that it's attacking or is attacking it, which is really good. And there's a lot of new players, and sometimes they don't read, and Construct catches them by surprise. Got 1 Ulti Shekinaga. Basically only ever go into it because it has 3,000 defense, and it's a level 10, so it lets you go into rank 10 Xyz plays, which is really good. But it also lets you negate and destroy a card on the field, and then discard a shadow monster from your hand, which is really good. Almost never use it. I almost always use it for Xyz material, but it comes up. Sometimes you can only make a Shekinaga and you want to just leave it on the field. And this one, it's also ulti, which is very nice. Got the 2 ulti Shaddolls that I have. 1 App Clone. I never make it, but supposedly it'll come up eventually. It lets you Fiendish Chain a monster on the field, negate its effect forever, which is really nice. The one that I do go into all the time, though, the 2 Wenda, it basically summon limits your opponent. It makes it where they cannot special summon more than, I think it's once. Let me read it. Yeah. Each player can only special summon monsters once per turn while Wenda's face up on the field. So you El Shaddoll Fusion on your opponent's turn. That's your 1 special summon for their turn. And you have Wenda on the field, and they can't do anything, which is really good. And sometimes Wenda can just win you the game against certain decks. Against, like, Eldritch, it doesn't win you the game because they only ever special summon their 1 big $120 boy every turn. But against, like, Emancipator, this is an instant win, which is always really nice. But Wenda only really ever comes up when you're going first. Going second, Wenda never really comes up. I play 2 Super Poly targets, Mud Dragon, Starving Venom. Not really a whole lot you could say about the Super Poly targets that hasn't already been said. They're just really good at getting stuff off of the field and getting you link material. I run the 2 Solemn Boys. I still need to get this one, Ulti. They basically, one of them, this one negates monster effects, this one negates spell and trap effects. And they're spell speed 2. So they're just walking Solemns, which is really nice. Abyss Dweller is also an instant win against a lot of decks because it turns off their graveyard effects, which so many decks today rely on their graveyard to get those effects. So going into Abyss Dweller, turn 1, if you're forced to go first, is just an instant win for you. Tornado Dragon, because the only really back row hate that I play in this deck is the Shaddoll Dragons, and that's very situational. So sometimes you need to go into Tornado Dragon to, like, get rid of their field spell or something. If you, for whatever reason, can't get dragon into the graveyard, you have a different kind of dragon. You have tornado dragon. I play 2 rank 10s. I play First Strain, Super Dreadnought, Rail Cannon, Gustav Max. It's basically bigger cowboy for a game. It burns your opponent for 2,000 damage, which is really good. And then, if I'm going first, I'll go into number 81, Super Dreadnought, Rail Cannon, Super Dora, which is one hell of a name. I'm actually glad I found this because it let me bump up my extra deck to 15. I was only playing 14. But it basically becomes immune to everything, and it has 4,000 defense, so nothing's getting over it unless they have like their own UCT. But even then, it'll be immune to that. So they can't Book of Moon it, they can't UCT it, they could Kaiju it, but nobody's playing Kaijus unless they're playing Crusadia. And nobody's playing Crusadia. So nobody's playing Kaijus. They might sphere mode you, but that's about it. They would have to sphere mode you. That's the only thing that I could really think of that could get over Super Dora. And then I have 1 Link Monster, Pentastag. It lets UCT do piercing damage instead of 1,000 damage to every face-down monster. You basically go into Pentastag every single game. It's required for Dino decks, I believe. You need to go into Pentastag. And it's honestly the unsung hero. I think it's only like 90 cents. If you don't already have one, go get one because it's really, really good. And that does it for the deck. Let me know what you guys think of my version of this deck. I really like it. I've been loving playing this deck for a couple months now. I've been playing Shaddoll Dinos. I've had the Shaddoll stuff for forever. I just recently got into playing Shaddoll Dinos. So leave a comment if there's any kind of deck you want me to cover. I could see about building it, or, you know, if I have most of the stuff, I could just go into my collection. But make sure to like and subscribe. Next goal, we just hit 50, so the next goal is to get to 100. I think we can do it. I think there's enough of you guys that we can pull together, get me to 100 subscribers. That would be epic. And bye, guys.